All right, so I got everything opened up here, and we are going to make a project. We're going to make a scene using our shapes and our shape builder tool that I've been talking about, but we haven't used yet. All right, first thing we're going to make some trees. All right, so to make some trees, I'm going to use the poly tool. And I'm going to go down by hitting the down button. I still have a left click. And I'm going to hold down shift, and I got myself a triangle. Now I am going to do some new things here. So I'm going to use the selection tool. If I hold down Alt, you see a little like double arrow shows up. If I left click and drag, I have now made a copy. All right, so to copy things, I hold down, I left click and drag, boom, there's a copy. So I have 3 rectangles. I do not like the color for that stroke, so I'm going to change that. And I'm going to drop this down to 1. Now you are going to be doing this along with me, but yours doesn't have to look exactly like it. So there's not going to be numbers or anything like that that are going to go through this because this is art. So I'm going to make my tree, and most of the time trees, so I'm going to hold down shift and alt, so it shrinks it down to the center, so it shrinks it in proportion and shrinks it in the center. So if I don't hold anything down, it'll go down here and it doesn't stay in proportion, but if I hold down alt and shift, it shrinks it in proportion. And now I think I got a pretty interesting looking tree, but I want them to be in a different order. So I want this one to be in the back, so I'm going to select it. I'm going to right click, go to arrange, send to back. And I want this one to be in the front, so I'm going to select that. Right click, go to arrange, bring to front. Well, doesn't that look like a beautiful tree? Now, the last thing I need is a trunk, so I'm going to use my rectangle tool. And I'm going to make a trunk here. And I'm going to make the trunk brown. And I'm just going to bring this selection tool, bring it over here and put it underneath. You can see how it's snapping here. And that is not right. So I'm going to right click, arrange, send to back. There you go. Now I have a wonderful tree. So there's our tree. There's our wonderful list. Now, if I accidentally grab something, oh, that's not good. Greatest thing in the world is Control and Z. That's the undo button. That's your favorite button. 2 buttons you're ever going to use. So right now I can drag these off as 1 or 2 things. I don't want to do that. I want to group them together. So I'm going to highlight all of them. I'm going to right click and I'm going to group. So now if I grab one, everything moves. If I touch one, everything is selected. So there we go. So now that we have this, I am going to pull off a few copies by holding down Alt. There we go. And I am going to start shrinking these and making my forest look a little bit different. And it's not going to be too different. It's not going to be too crazy, but make it a little bit different. You know, some tall trees, some short trees, some fat trees. All this fun stuff. So I got different looking trees. There we go. And you'll be able to make more trees or different trees, however you want to make them. So it's not that big of a deal. So we got our trees made. Give you a chance to make your trees. Also, if you want, you can, if you select it and right click and hit ungroup, now they're back into different things. And let's say I wanted to change the color to the trees. I can select one. If I hold down shift, I select another one. And I keep shift down and I click one more. Now they're all 3 selected. And I can change the color of my tree. And then I can highlight all of them and right click and group them back together. So make some trees, change some colors, make them look good, and then we'll get back to work. So press pause and finish that up. Happy with it. All right, so the next thing I want for my beautiful landscape we're drawing here is how about we make some, maybe make a hill or something like that, you know, maybe something for these to go onto. So we're going to make a hill. So I'm going to take my ellipse tool and I am going to deselect everything so nothing's selected. So I just clicked out. Grab my ellipse tool and I'm going to drag, and that looks good there. And I think I'm just going to make a copy of that by holding down Alt and dragging it out. And there is a fantastic thing going on here. Maybe I make this a little bit longer. Maybe I make this a little bit shorter. You know, there's skills, there's things going on here. So that's looking pretty decent. I think I'm going to change the color of this a little bit. So maybe I get a little bit different, different green here. If by any chance you get a screen that looks like this, it means you double clicked on something, you're in isolation mode. We're not going to deal with that right now. Just click somewhere else, double click, and we'll get it back out of that. And I'm going to use this one again here. So there we go. We're looking good. It's looking solid, but they're definitely in the wrong place. So I am going to select both of these, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to arrange, and I'm going to send them to the back. There we go. But now I see this weird line here. I don't want this line here. I want to build these things together so it's one shape. So if I select both of them again, holding down Shift, and I grab this tool right here, it's called Shape Builder Tool, and I click on that. You get these weird little designs here. If I click, left click, and drag through, now I have one shape. One shape. So if I go Control Z, I can bring it back. If I select both of them, I go to Shape Builder. I start on top of this one. See those weird little cross hatchings? I hold down the left click, I drag through. Now I have one shape. There we go. That looks beautiful. Now I do have this stuff outside of it. So we're going to have to deal with that here right now. So what I'm going to do, I want to zoom in and out. So I'm going to press the Alt key, and I'm going to scroll in and scroll out. That's my zoom in and out. If you don't like doing it that way, you can do Control minus or Control plus. All right, both ways will zoom in and out. So I'm going to put a background color on here. So I'm going to go rectangle. I'm going to snap it right up here. It's the intersection, drag it all the way down, cover it up. And it's like, huh, interesting. So I'm going to make this like a night scene. So maybe my night is going to be like a grayish color or something. Maybe, I don't know. We'll work with the color a little bit later. But we definitely need to change this arrangement. Right click, arrange, send to back. All right, so we're looking better. But now we're going to deal with this thing right here. So now before when we shape build, we build things together. Now I'm going to select this background, and I'm going to hold down Shift and select this shape. Now, if I take the Shape Builder tool, and you can see there's a plus sign right there. If I hold down Alt, now there's a minus sign. See, plus, minus, plus, minus. I'm going to hold down this, and I'm going to start outside of here. I'm going to left click, I'm going to drag, and I'm going to touch it. And now it's cut that out. So now that shape has been built. I use this line to cut that one apart. Now, the bad thing about a background is if you grab it anywhere, you're going to be grabbing the background. So I'm going to Control Z to bring it back. So we need to lock that background down. So I'm going to go into here, something new. It's called layers. We'll use that a lot. Drag it. I'm going to open this drop down, and here is my background. See, everything is in certain layers here. If I click eyeball, it goes away. You can do that with any of them. Eyeballs on, it goes away, eyeballs on. You can see it. This one right here is for a lock. Now I lock this. Now I cannot move this part at all. I can still move that. I think I'm going to lock that one too. I lock my ground. My trees are still movable. Maybe you want to lock those, maybe you don't. But that's where we're at. But you can see there's groups. You can see what's going on. If I hit that drop down, you can see the different shapes that make up that group. So there's a lot of things going on here. So figure out, and also when they're locked, you can't change colors. So if you're changing colors, figure out what you want them to look like. So change the color of this and change the color of your background. So I have those unlocked. So if I want more colors than these, you can hold down Shift and hit that. And now you can change all the different colors you want. You can get whatever colors. If you're good at blending colors, you know how, if you're painting and you know how blending colors works, you can do it up here. If you're not, you know, you can drag and drop and just kind of pick whatever you want from down here. So there's all sorts of different ways of finding colors. I'm going to do this background here. Let's hold down shift, and maybe I want to make it a little bit of blue hint to it. Maybe not too blue because I do want it to be nice. Maybe a little purple in there. There we go. That looks good. So now I'm happy with my colors. I'm going to lock those two layers. Get happy with your colors and press pause. Get the colors where you want them. And when you're ready, start the video back up. All right. So we're looking good here. Everything looks fine. I've decided that I don't like this background color. I'm going to change it to kind of like, oops, I have my background. But I have it selected to change colors. Yeah, I like it a little bit darker. All right, so I'm going to lock that layer again so I don't grab it on accident. Now it is nighttime, so let's put a moon in here. So moons are circles. So I'm going to hold down Shift and Alt and drag it out here. And my moon is going to be kind of a whitish colored moon there. And I think it looks good. So I'm going to grab my selection tool and kind of drag it down there. And you know what? I don't want a full moon. I want a crescent moon. So I'm going to hold down Alt, or have a selection tool, have it selected, hold down Alt, drag it out. Now I have two of those. Now with this, we can use this circle to cut that crescent shape. So I'm going to hit Shift, and then I'm going to select both of those. Now I'm going to take my shape builder. Now I'm subtracting this time, so I'm going to hold down Alt, go to the minus sign, and we're going to touch, let go. There is my crescent moon. So we've made a crescent moon. I'll go back. So again, I have it selected. I hold down Alt, I drag it out. I hold down Shift, I select the second moon, shape builder, hold down Alt, drag it through, and there we go. Now, no night scene would be complete. If you have a moon, you got to have some stars. So we're going to use our shape tools here. So I'm going to take my star tool, and I'm going to start making stars. And that one has way too many sides on it. So I'm going to bring it down, 5-point star, maybe a 4-point star, maybe 6-point star. I don't know. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so I can see a little bit better. And I'm just going to make some copies. And maybe I like this little pattern. I'm going to highlight all of them. And I want to make a copy of the whole thing. And then maybe I'm going to rotate it around a little bit. And then maybe I'm just going to shrink it down. And make a few more stars a little bit quicker. And then we can kind of move things around and get some doodads around there and make it look pretty. Other things we can do, maybe we should, if I select multiple ones at a time here, maybe they need to be a different color. And I can select these other ones. And maybe we can use this yellow, but then maybe hit the drop down and move it a little bit. So remember, I held down Shift and I hit that to get this to show up here. Well, it looks pretty good here. I got some stars. Maybe they're kind of big though. Maybe I'm going to shrink them down a little bit. They look a little bit big. Maybe shrink them down a little bit more, and maybe make a copy of them by holding down Alt and dragging them over. Maybe rotate them a little bit. And kind of just move them around, give them a little, spread them out there. That was weird. There we go. Now we got some stars. And again, yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine. It just has to be stars. It's kind of like a Bob Ross painting, whatever you want it to be. So the last thing we need to do to make this painting complete here is I think it really needs some mountains. All right, mountains are pretty easy to make. We'll use our poly tool. And I'm going to hold down space bar and drag this over because I want to make my mountains over here. That is a big star. There we go. So shift. And here is a mountain. Maybe I'll make it a little bit taller and pointier. Maybe I'll make a copy of some. Maybe make them taller by stretching them out. Wider. I don't know. They look kind of goofy right now. I'm going to zoom out, control minus. First off, I don't like the color of these stars. The mountains, I'll make it a little bit darker here. I'm going to drag them up over here. Ugh, they're in the wrong spot. I think, so if I move them all the way to the back, they'll be behind the background. But if I move them up one, they'll be in front of the background, but they'll be behind everything else. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go arrange, right-click, arrange, send to back. I'm going to do right-click, arrange, bring forward. That brings it one place forward. There we go. Now we got them. Maybe they're still a little dark. There we go. Now control plus. I'm going to start working with individual ones at a time here. And it's okay if they're down at the bottom here. It's perfectly fine. We'll shape build those ones out of here. Let's see here. Do one more. Now here's a dilemma here. We're looking at this. We want to make sure that everything kind of lines up and looks good. So this is what I have. Design yours however you want to. Maybe there's no mountains over here. Maybe there's just a tiny mountain, I should say. And mountains usually don't just stop. There's a tiny mountain. All right, so we want to shape build this stuff out of here. So to shape build it, we need all of these we just drew, but we also need this background layer. That looks kind of weird. I'm going to move that one. So here we go. We need this background layer because we got to use that to shape build. So I'm going to unlock that background layer. And I'm going to select every mountain by holding down Shift. And then I'm going to select the background layer. Now they're all selected. Shape Builder, we want to cut things out of here. We're going to hold down Alt. And I'm just going to touch on the outside here. Don't touch on the inside. Only the outside. Every single piece is touched. There it is. It's gone. Now we can lock the background. I'm going to lock my mountains too. I kind of like the way the mountains look. And here we go. Now, see, I can't grab them anymore, so I can move some of these around, move some of those around. And we have a nice little design here. If you want to go all out here, you could, put some snow caps on top of them or something like that. So to put snow caps on, what I would do is I'm going to only do them for one here. I'm going to select. I'm going to take this one and select it so I can see where it is. Now, actually, a snow cap should probably be on the tallest one. So I need my tallest mountain, which is not that one. It might be this one. There it is. So I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to hold down Alt. I'm going to drag it out. There's my mountain there. Whoops. There we go. So now, if I duplicate it again and again and again, I can make my snowy mountaintop with my mountains. So there it is right there. That's the piece that I want. Okay, because it's a snowy mountaintop. So if I highlight all of them, I selected all of them, grab that shape builder tool, and I'm subtracting. So I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to cut everything away, except for my snowy mountaintop. There's my snowy mountaintop. There it is. I'm going to change it to a nice snowy color. White. Then if I drag it over here, it should snap on. See how it just snaps on there? And there we go. Now I have snow on the mountaintop. And we did it. So finish it up. There is your nice little scene there. And you've created your first piece of artwork using the shape builder tool. So congratulations. There we go. Make sure to get it handed in.